Hey everyone, thank you very much for tuning into my podcast. And I would love to welcome Dan today with me. He's from the Phoenix Experience. I can see your board inside, in background, beautiful. And yeah, I met Dan in the coaching institute. We basically studied together, and I saw him to grow so much. Like last few years, he achieved so much in the business and his career, and it will be lovely to talk about business, also the life experience and your story today. That means, yeah, welcome into my podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much, Alex, and thank you to everyone who's watching and listening. I'm super excited to be here.
Thank you. And yeah, if you can start, probably just give us some kind of overview, like what you do, and I will ask you the question: How did you get there? Of course.
Well, what I'm doing at the moment is obviously for the last 5.5 years, I've been on the mission to become a professional speaker, like a motivational speaker and a coach and a trainer. And also, I do the Phoenix Experience, which is taking busy people away on life-changing experiences. Didn't do that so much this year for obvious reasons in Victoria with
Yeah.
lockdown. Um, yeah, but taking teams on hikes, and it's all based around personal development and creating life-changing events for people. And just recently in the last couple of years, I've been really helping people change their story that they tell themselves, and also and helping them share their story with the world as well, like messages of hope. So it's transitioned a little bit over the last few years as well, which has been amazing.
Yeah, I love that. I actually like, and I'm probably interested to hear more about the Phoenix experience, like how you create a transformational experience, or how, like, can you give us some example or how you do
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
That will
absolutely.
be
So
really cool.
what I found is that it often takes some kind of life event for people to change, whether it's uh, a marriage breakdown or a health scare or redundancy, something like that that forces us to change. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to recreate that same life-changing event by doing it on an experience so that people wouldn't have to have that life-changing kind of that metaphorical train wreck, so to speak. So what I thought I would do is I'd take people out into the mountains and recreate those same conditions for the change in a controlled manner so they didn't have to have the aftermath. And that was the theory behind it. And it's definitely done that as well.
Yeah, I love that because I think you're right. It's so important because usually life situations is pushing us to change, but we should understand we can actually change even before something happen, and that's
Yes.
so great. I really love what you do, and yeah, but I know your story a little bit, and I would love to probably share that because I know you had huge courage. You overcame so many obstacles and challenges in life, and if you are fine with that, can you share like how did you actually get there? Like last 5 years, you're doing something that you really, really enjoy. And I believe it's your passion because I can see it when you're talking about that. And I saw you to present and I see that you love what you do. But it wasn't always like that.
No, it definitely unfortunately it definitely wasn't. Um, I I guess I like going back, like when I was 19, like I had a really bad car accident, and that left me with like a completely shattered spine and broken neck and a broken back, and left me paralyzed in hospital in traction for a couple of months. And I ended up learning to walk again, which was amazing. And then I ended up just walking out on everything. I walked out on my partner, I walked out of my apartment, my job, my car, everything, and I went walkabout in
Wow.
North Queensland, um, homeless for 6 months to really rebuild my mind and my body, because I was just in such a bad way. I was like a young man that kind of had everything, and then to go to having nothing, like not a cent. And people thought I was a heroin addict because I was so skinny from my injuries. People thought I was a bum. Um, and and then yeah, really started to rebuild my life after that, and then worked my way up and back and got into a leadership position for about 5 years with Super Retail Group that own BCF and Raise Outdoors and Gold. They used to own the Amart and Rebel and all of that,
Yeah.
which was awesome. And then I got made redundant 2 days before Easter in 2015, and they took my car off me. They took my laptop, walked me out on the spot, and gave me my redundancy and paid me out. And that's when I made the decision to bring this coaching dream to life. So that was a whole nother journey in itself.
Yeah, wow. Like that's definitely you had to have so much energy to and strength to change your life and actually start from beginning basically. Because
Yeah, exactly. I actually had to start from scratch. I
yeah,
actually had to start back from below scratch because I had like a loan on my car, and I'd left my car and my partner and all these. So I had all of these uh, bills that what I had to pay back
wow.
when I first started working. I never went back to Brisbane where I was living. I never went back at all. I never went back to my partner, and then I started working in Cairns, and then just started to rebuild my life. Like I had nothing. Like I think I had like maybe 6,000, I think $10,000 worth of debt. I think I had doesn't seem like much these days,
That's what
but
you had. That's what you had.
when you're
So,
10, when you're 20 years old and and so I had nothing. I had no money, and I remember they wouldn't give me a loan for a car until I paid off my other loan for the other
yeah.
car that I left. I don't even know where I left it. I never it just was
Wow.
kind of like just a chapter that I just didn't want to face, if that makes sense. Like I know it sounds
Yeah.
strange.
You kind of deleted that. It's like I can't remember anything.
Yeah,
Delete.
like even though it seemed to make sense to me at the time, but I just didn't think about the car or anything. So I had to. I remember it very clearly. I had to ride to work in Cairns at the railway. For work for Queensland Rail, I had to ride every day at like 2 a.m. or at 12 at night doing shift work working on the trains. And I remember some days it rains in North Queensland.
I know.
It rains, and it rained. I remember just riding to work, and I was just weak. I was still really weak because I went back to work only 9 months after my car accident.
Yeah.
So I
Wow.
was still
Very
very
weak.
skinny, like really skinny and very weak. The doctor said I should have had 2 years off, but I was so sick of being broke. I was so sick of people thinking I was a bum, and I was so sick of just having no money and the judgment from everyone. And so I went back to work, and I remember riding in the rain. I just remember that so vividly, like weeks on end through summer, just getting drenched to the bone, like like
Oh my
drenched.
God.
and just had that drive, and riding was good as well because it helped me rebuild my strength in my body. But I was like
Yeah.
really fatigued. Like I was like every day I was just exhausted because my body was still trying to recover from
Yeah. And you already
all the
start to do things. Yeah.
horrific
Definitely.
injuries. Yeah, like the doctor said, I actually needed 2 years to fully recover.
Yeah.
But I couldn't. There's no way I could have stayed on disability pension. Like that was really hard.
Yeah. Okay. That means your motivation was more coming from what you don't want. You're sick of being judged. You're sick of being people see you as a no one. Like you can't take care of yourself. Like, you just kind of that was pushing you the most. When you think
Yeah,
about that, what was your
definitely. I
motivation?
think that was like a strategy that I used to run a lot. Was like the move, like really, like when my back's against the wall, like the best would come out of me. Had to
Yeah.
be extremely against the wall, but yeah, and yeah, it was definitely like a powerful motivator because I was just like, I have to, just rebuild my life and try to get back to how things were.
Wow. Yeah, yeah. Look, you did amazing job, definitely. Like coming from that point when you have nothing to become very, very successful in your business and life. I think that's amazing and congratulations on that. That's really
Yeah,
good.
thank you. Yeah, it's
And
it's one of those things. Like I said to someone like, oh, I feel so lucky, and he's like, there's no luck. He
That's
said,
not, I agree, that's no
I
luck.
think that we've all like, there's a certain amount of luck, but you've got to have the right. I heard this thing. I think Jay Shetty or someone says like, you got the luck bus. Have you heard about that? So the luck bus comes around every now and again, but you got to have the right change to get on the luck bus. So you got to have done the work. You've got
Yes,
to put yourself in the right positions. You got to show up all the time. So when that opportunity comes, like you can
you can
capitalize
take
on
it.
it. I thought that's
Yeah.
really cool. Yeah.
That's such a great point, because when you think about it, people think that you need to have something, to become successful, or you need to already have money to build a business, and you need to have something extra. But I think the extra thing, what I see in you, it's just really that passion and that determination that you brought into your everyday life, like when you were pushed to the wall, like you said, like you felt weak, but you still jump on the bike, and you were going to the work. But when you think about that now, like I know because you're five years in business, and you're doing pretty well. What is motivating you now? What is that, like the drive? Because I know that probably is not pushing you to the wall anymore. Nothing,
Yeah. Well,
hopefully.
kind of at the start, it was because like when I got made redundant, I put all of my redundancy on the house because I said to my wife, like, I'm gonna become a motivational speaker, and I want to take people up mountains. And every single person that I told of my idea laughed at me. They just thought that's
that
ridiculous.
that usually happen, I know.
No one's going to
No,
pay
that.
you no one's going to pay you to do that. And it's funny how life happens. It's almost like full circle. So I went, like, I had no car because had a company car for 5 years, and I didn't want to use my redundancy money to buy a car or
Yeah.
I got a fair decent payout. And yeah, so I ended up getting a job casually, so I could, like, because I'd never had my own business before. Like when I started this coaching thing, I'd never been to a networking event. I'd never had a business. I'd never done any kind of like marketing or anything like that.
Yeah.
Um, and so I decided, I thought I'll go back and I'll work casual, 3 days a week to fund the business and to pay for my coaching course and all of those things. And it's funny how life happens full circle. To motivate myself, I said, I'm just going to ride to work, like, because I didn't have a car for the first year and a half. And so I was like, I'm going to ride to my casual job, rain, hail, or shine, just so I didn't get comfortable. I didn't want to get comfortable. And when things got hard building my business, I didn't want to get comfortable and go back to, getting another corporate job or things like that. So the motivation of me riding was just that pain. I think it was good. It was that pain that I needed just to
Yeah.
really tell myself that this is what you got to do. This is what you got to do. This is what's going to separate you. And if you give up, the dream fades. And if you don't, you can pull it off. So that was really quite good motivating. And I'd get to the bike shop, and some of the guys there give me a bit of stick, saying, here you are, some motivational speaker, and you're riding to work in the rain. And yeah, and I was just like, one day I'll have the last laugh.
Yeah, you will share your ride in the in the rain.
Exactly. And it's just funny how things happen, because like I remember riding to work, and I was listening to my first ever keynote that I did, and it was quite a big speaking gig for my first one, and I was listening to it in my ear when I was riding, just to rehearse it. And I remember catching a train to do this speaking gig, and it was like at the MCG, and it was like 700 people in the members dining room of the MCG, and it was a phenomenal, life-changing moment for me. And it was funny because I caught a train there, and like I was like, this had this crazy imposter syndrome. So I think I have there's got to go and speak to all these people, and I caught a train, but they didn't know, and they loved the talk, and it was amazing. But when I was first going there, I was like, oh my God, it was like this full imposter syndrome.
Yeah, how amazing we are actually creating this story about us. I just spoke about that this morning I had a small workshop, and I was thinking, like, we just create a story, like you said, like nobody knows that you took the train, and actually what does that doesn't really matter.
It
Like
doesn't
why we
matter at
should
all.
judge people on what they have or what they decide to use, because some people just don't want to have great car. I know people that they're millionaires and they never really have great car. They just don't want. They just
Yeah,
like, that's not their passion, that's not something they enjoy.
yeah.
And I love how we say stories, like, I look like this, or I look different. We already suppress ourselves or press ourselves down or up, and like you said, just creating this imposter syndrome, basically not really natural way, because it's not really true. Like to,
No, no, and they didn't care. They didn't know, and they didn't care. They
it's
loved the talk, and they were inspired. And
yeah,
people came up to me, and they were like, "Are you a professional speaker?"
that
And I'm sort
sounds
of
great.
smiling and nodding when I'm like thinking, "This is my first ever big gig," like so.
Like, yeah, I'm
Exactly,
professional
and
first time.
yeah, and I love what you're saying about the story, and it's a lot of things that I've been working with um, people and with clients. A lot is helping them change that story, that narrative that they tell themselves. Like, because people will say, well, I'm not that type of person, or I could never do that, or this is just the way that I am. And the story that we tell ourselves is based on so many external influences on us that it's not even us. Like it's everyone else's influence on us when we're growing up that shapes our story or shapes the story that we tell ourselves.
Yeah,
And once I help people realize that they can change that story, like it's there's a lot of freedom in that.
that's so powerful. I absolutely agree. Like the story or thoughts we have, when we think about that, the way that we can really change with one thought, it's just so powerful. And when you think about people, look, you're probably meeting a lot of clients, they have imposter syndrome, or they like really have those stories, they're not supporting them. Do you have any, like, a tool, maybe just something they can do at the beginning? Because I probably, you had the same, like you said, like first thing was that if you were actually on a train to your big gig, speaking gig, or you like you said, you were homeless, that probably was hard to don't identify yourself as that person. Like
Yeah,
what do you change? What did you change?
it's completely changing the. Obviously starts with the things that you say to yourself about yourself. There's this quote by Calvin Coolidge, and he said, like, who are we but the story that we tell ourselves about ourselves and believe? And I'm like, it's
So
that's it.
true.
That's it. Like that is all we are. Like that's who we are. And it's all about just deciding then who do you want to be? Like who do you want, like what sort of person do you want to be? And then you slowly go about reprogramming. And every time you catch yourself saying something, you change the way you talk to yourself, to change the way that you interact with the world. And I created this like 30-page um, like a 30-page booklet for the start of this year that I shared with people. And it was all about redesigning your story from completely from scratch, like every area of your life. And like once you change that narrative and you realize that you can become whoever you want, like I remember Les Brown saying, a tree is just a tree, but a human being, we can be anything. And the only reason why we think we can't be anything is by the limitations that other people have put on us or the limitations that we put on ourselves. Like there's just so many stories about people that have just overcome so many crazy things and just rebuilt their life. Like
Yeah,
I've worked with um, disability unemployment, and I've worked with so many different people and so many different walks of life, and I've worked with millionaires and people with no money. Everyone's got the same shit going on.
I absolutely agree.
it's,
It's
it's
so,
got,
yeah.
it's got
it,
more money in the bank.
it's so unbelievable, because people actually don't realize that we are so similar. It doesn't matter what we have. What is most important, what we think, or who we are, and how we'll show up. I've always said, because I had a friend, and he ended up really badly, but because he was millionaire, he has so much money, he has everything. Everybody thought that he has everything, and he's dead now, and people are like, I don't understand how, like why. And it's like, you don't know. we have brain, and brain is similar. It doesn't matter what is in the bank, but we have the same we have stories. We can be depressed, we can be happy. And I believe, you know, already, like you can be probably happy, you know, I'm not sure if to call it happy, but I believe you are able to create that kind of gratefulness or happiness, like that kind of mood around, like for every day, just with your thoughts.
Absolutely. Like you can be high flying one day and like fully broke the next, right? Like life is fleeting. Like if you think about COVID and all of those things, like the businesses and industries were wiped out overnight. So we can be high flying one day, but you're right. I always said this a lot in my early sort of blogs and stuff. It was all a lot about like our circumstances don't define us,
Yeah, that I
like
love
that,
that.
our attitude does, right? Like because if you're, it doesn't matter how, where you are or what you do, like as long as you've got the right attitude, I think like you know, like that's about respect and respecting others, respecting yourself, all of those things. But I truly believe that our circumstances don't define us, because our circumstances are so fleeting.
Yeah.
Like,
I,
does that
it
make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely understand, because that's the same thing. I can easily use COVID-19 as an excuse, because I lost my business, event management business, in
Well,
February,
yeah, well, like
and
completely decimated.
and I was, you know, I was going from a beautiful income to zero one day. One day they cancel all
One
the events.
day.
One day changed everything regarding the bank account. I didn't change. I just respond.
But
And
you
I
could
said
have.
I
You could
have
have.
to.
Like, and no one would blame you if you did as well.
Yeah, but I think is, yeah, I guess it's the, like you said, is that is attitude, is the thing that we bringing, is us. And I believe to, it's so easy. I don't know if you find it easy, but I think it's so easy to get down and blame and
Of
feel
course.
sorry, be in the victim part, you know, and just really be like, you know what, it happened, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
Like a lot of
But
people
like no
use
one would
that.
blame you for that. Like there's so many things that people go through that you could always go, you know what, like that's pretty full on. Like I get that you're pissed off and I get that you're blaming, and like I think that it's totally a justified response. But I always say, like, and I've been there as well. Like, don't
Yeah,
get me
I
wrong,
think
like
we all.
many times.
Yeah.
But then it's like, and I used to say it to my job seekers a lot. I'm like, will it change anything? Like all of that's true, and no one would say a wrong thing about like your reaction. But I always say, does it change anything?
So well, yeah, so true. It just doesn't.
It doesn't. Like it does not change anything, and that doesn't mean that it's not hard and it's not tough and it's not horrific and all of the things, the tragic things that we all go through as human
Yeah.
beings. Like life is hard. Like it's like a Joseph Campbell said, it's like life's like a beautiful symphony, but it hurts.
I like that one, because I always say, when people say, you know, like it's hard, I said, yeah, life is hard. And or people say, like, you know, that's not fair. I said, life is not fair.
Yeah.
But where did you get that belief that life has to be fair? It's not. You just here to overcome, to be better, to use the challenges for your growth and change yourself. But I want to go a little bit back to that defining moment, because I know you were at a state that you say like it's enough. And you know, like, I want people to kind of be able to recognize that, like, when was the point, like, do you remember any moment when you say like I don't want to be like that, I just had enough? Because it has to be something, probably something happened, or maybe that was your thought, or the moment that you said, like, you know what, this is too much, I don't want to end up like that.
Yeah. I, I think and it's a while ago now, but it's like, I think it's with anything, it's a combination of things where it just builds and builds and it builds. And it's not like one thing. Well, it's normally one thing where it's like the trigger, but it's kind of been building towards it
Yeah.
from there. And I, I've seen it a lot with a lot of people and stuff, whereas like they've wanted to change for a long time, but then there'll be like one thing that'll tip them over the line. They'll be like,
Yeah.
that's enough's enough. Like I'm done. like that. But it's been building for a while. And I think it was me, like I just saw the people around me, like, they were young people my age that was starting to be quite established, and they had money and like all the toys, like in Cairns, you need toys like motorbikes and mountain
I
bikes.
know Cairns. I love
You
Cairns.
need stuff, right? Like it's Cairns. So you need all the toys and
Because you can't swim. I know. It's
yeah,
just all these
exactly.
crocodiles and
Yeah. Well, I
and
used to,
sharks.
like, I was hitchhiking everywhere for like 9 months as well. So I
Yeah.
had that motor. I wanted a car, and I was sick of hitchhiking, and I like I didn't really talk about it before, but like I was when I was broke. Like when I mean broke, like I was getting like $250 a fortnight from the government disability pension because I couldn't get rent assistance because I didn't have a house. So I was trying to survive on these measly money, and there were times where I was like starving. Like I had to go to churches to get food stamps, and I was walking around Woolworths some days just eating fruit and nuts and chocolate bars so I wouldn't starve. And I had a falling out with my parents. So I was just dramas happened in the hospital bed. So I sort of distanced myself from all of my family. Um, so I couldn't borrow any money off my parents. So I did, yeah. So um, yeah,
Wow.
there was times where I was like literally starving, and I had to do whatever I could to eat. So there was just so much pain around that. I was like, I just can't keep going on like this.
Wow. That's
Especially because I'd always had money. Like I came out of like I left schoolies week 3 days early. So I thought that my strategy was I'll get the jump on everyone for the jobs. And it worked.
yeah.
So I got a good job, and I progressed really fast in that job. Like like really, really fast. Like I was the youngest ever person on the trains for the Queensland Rail. Like I did really well, really fast. So I always had lots of money, like
Yeah.
for a young guy. Like, and even when I was growing up, like I used to race on the road bike and the track bike, like cycling. And when I was growing up, my parents didn't have much money, but I think that's where I learned my dogged determination, is because my parents didn't have much money. So I had to train to earn money to race bikes. So the more that I trained, the better I could be at racing, and the more money I could win racing, so that I could pay for my habit.
Yeah.
So I back when I was like 15, 16, I'd earn maybe a couple of hundred, $250 on a weekend.
Yeah.
In the early 90s, that was a lot of money,
Yeah.
like lots of money.
Definitely. No, I absolutely, yeah, I can rely on this on that because I also like my parents didn't have really a lot of money. We were really average, and I was working like when I was 16, 15, like I was selling the ice cream and stuff, like
Nice.
I was so shy, and I was just, standing there as a girl that should be, with friends, but I was just standing there, and I hope that I will never see anyone around that I know.
Yeah.
And it was I kind of I remember that I was like embarrassed, but I was like, no, I have to do it because I wanted something new, I wanted something.
Good on you.
And
So
I
that was
didn't
born
want
out
to
of
ask
necessity.
I didn't want to ask my mom because I know she was, she wasn't really having money, and I was like, you know what, that's fine. Like she can't, buy the trainers for the school for PT to me and my brother, and I said I will probably need to make money. That means I know exactly like the drive. It is probably, I believe it's built in actually really young age, because a lot of people now, or young kids, they don't know what is work till late. It's just such a different generation. And when I think about people that really work, from 15, 16, so I guess that's big different into like how you will actually end up, how you will grow up, and what is that determination. I think that's amazing. It's definitely something you pick up there, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, Alex, because it's a
Yeah.
necessity. It's
Yeah.
like you have to do it. It's not like
You
there's
just don't have
something about that
option.
that
Yeah.
changes you. You're like, I have to do this. Like
Yeah.
I have to do this, and yeah, I believe it's so important. It's like they say, like, necessity is the mother of all invention.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with this. It's like you kind of just got to work it out.
Yeah.
Like
And
if you
I
don't work it out, you
yeah.
don't get paid.
And I like that you basically decided to do what you want, you know, and you didn't think that, okay, my parents don't have money, I can't do this sport, or I can't do this because it's expensive sport. And I know a lot of people, they are usually like that. They're like, okay, we don't have enough, I'm just not doing that. Instead of being, I don't have enough, I want to do it, I will still do it, I will figure it out how. And I guess that's what majority of people actually missing. That thinking around, you know, and just really figure it out how, like just get it, go do what you want, what you love. Don't
Yeah,
let anything else stop you. Why money should stop you? I just like, there is always option to make more. That's
yeah. It's such a wonderful message, Alex. It's like, and I believe it's so true. Like everything is. I remember Brian Tracy. Like I was watching a lot of Brian Tracy videos on YouTube when I first started my coaching
yeah.
business, because I was trying to learn stuff about business because I had no idea about anything. And he said, and it's changed my mind. He goes, everyone's got this big myth around business. He said, but anyone can learn business. Like it doesn't matter. Some people it takes longer, and some people it takes like a shorter amount of time. He said, but everyone can learn it. And I was like, that really gave me a lot of peace.
It's
So I was like,
awesome.
oh, I can work this out. And what's great about this day and age, what I love is information is free.
Oh, that's just so
It
true.
is like,
It's,
it is
and it's
free. Like
everywhere.
if you don't know how to do something, you can go on YouTube and learn anything. Like I love YouTube. Like I go on,
I
like
love YouTube. I
I'm
agree.
on YouTube like 24 hours a day, like just listening to things, learning things. If I don't know something, like I will just watch something on YouTube and learn how to do it. And I think that's a real gift that we have these days, is the access to information, to be able to do whatever we want. And I think, and well, I know that if people change their belief around the fact that they can learn anything, like that's a superpower.
Yeah, oh, that's beautiful. I really like what you say, because when you think about people, probably you met some clients or some people around that you have, because I'm meeting clients like that all the time, that they said, I'm not IT person, I don't like to do that, I don't know how. I always said I didn't know how as well. I was searching on Google how to do, how to set up, how to start to use CRM, what are the CRMs, or whatever it is, you know, or how to build your website. Or like you can Google everything. Like you can find
Everything.
every videos, tutorials are so amazing. And honestly, I sometimes can't believe like what I'm searching, I still find it. Like sometimes I'm searching, you know, how to do something. It's like, this can't be on YouTube. It's still there. Like the
Everything.
small things that you try
Everything.
to figure out. Yeah, I know it's crazy. Like I started to use and edit videos, and I was like, you know what? Like I tried to figure it out by myself for like hour, and I was like, oh my god, I forgot about YouTube, and
Yeah.
I put it into YouTube like the small. I was just searching for one button, basically, just one function, and it was like 10 videos about that one function. It's like how
Right.
you can say that you can't do it or you don't know
And
how.
it's like, and
You,
they
it,
do it for like the lowest common denominator. It's like step by step. I'm the same.
yes.
So I did my website, I did everything. Like I learned how to like, yeah, create
Yeah.
all these things. And to show you like how crazy it is I'm like the least handy person like ever. Like I can do it, but I do it begrudgingly. Like the the thermostat went on our hot water system, and I rang a plumber, and he's like, oh, it's going to cost $600 to change it. And I was like, oh, $600. And I thought, I wonder if it's on YouTube. So I Googled like how to change the thermostat, and it told me exactly what to do. Like switch the water off down at the street, and then
Wow.
let it the pressure out, and then undo it, take it down to the plumbing supply
That's
place. They
cool.
swap, match it up for you, take it back, put some thing. It cost me $70.
Wow. That's
And I was,
different.
it didn't blow up. So I must
Yeah.
have done something right.
You must do a good job. Well, this is for everyone. That means if you say you don't know how to do it and you can't do it, you can do it. That means that's probably the major thing
That's the
we need to
message.
say.
Yeah, like we got
Yeah.
there in a long
Go
long
on.
way, but it is
Google it.
like, and I really want people to really like almost burn it into their brain. It's like that they can learn anything. Like some people say that they're not smart, or they've got learning difficulties, or everything that, I remember my English teacher she didn't fail me, um, but she because she felt sorry for me in English. And like I never have done any writing. And then just when I started this coaching thing, they said, well, you got to learn how to write blogs and do all of those things. And like I was rubbish at the start, like rubbish. My writing was terrible. And like I've written over 600,000 words now in 5.5 years
Wow.
of
Do you want to write
blogs.
blogs for me?
Yeah, I've written blogs. Like I've written blogs. I've done like writing where I've written an
Yeah.
800-word blog, like 35 days in a row.
Good work.
And that's purely from right when my first blog was 200 words and it was terrible. Like it was so bad, it was embarrassing. My wife said, you can't put that out on the internet. It was that.
I'm totally with you because my English is, especially at the beginning and in writing, it was so many mistakes.
Yeah.
Like people were reading something and I was like, how you can understand? And my partner was like, I don't know what you try to say. I said, it's so clear what I'm trying to say.
You should
It
get
was.
it.
How we can get it. And it's so funny. Like you said, we can really learn everything.
Yeah.
And it can be really anything in your, especially business. I agree when you said that was really good point. Like you can learn business, how to do it. It's not just like some people say, I'm not business person. I don't know, like it's not for me. How do you know it's not for you when you didn't even start to learn, how you can do it and how you can do it better, how you
Mm,
can do it with less stress? Because people think that business is only stress. It is, it's pressure. It's hard. It's not easy. I always said when you want to leave your, because there was always a lot of advertisement, leave your 9 to 5 to become, entrepreneurs is better. Like it's easy. It's freedom. I was like, no,
yes.
it's not freedom for first 5-10 years. It's
No.
not freedom.
Yeah.
Forget about that. And I always said when people try to get into my courses from five, like they leave the job, and I said, don't leave the job. Don't leave the job. Yeah,
Oh,
like
no
you,
way. Like I think
it's
it's better to do it like transition.
yeah, because you need to have full time, like you need to have replacement of your income, and there's so many things that are happening. That's why people, I guess, end up maybe like in like a bad place with business. And there's always the process, I guess. And but when we talk about your like Phoenix experience, I know you overcame a lot, and you're strong and you're here now and you're successful. What is are you using any of that experience in your Phoenix experience, and in your business?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, definitely. For me, it's a big part of it is around like that belief that I have in people as well. Like that belief that I always think that if I can do it, anyone can do it.
Yeah.
and and it really helps because some people, when they come on my hikes up for Sunrise, I have teams come up and some people really struggle and they feel bad about it. And I'm like, no, like get to the top. Like once you get to the top, and I've had people just burst into tears, and it's like these life-changing moments because they realize that they are way more capable than they give themselves credit for. And that's what that physical behavioral change helps the personal development. Makes it so much more impactful because it's like the behavioral change happens a lot better rather than just sort of like a normal conversation at kind of ground level where you're kind of talking about it. When you can get people to experience that, like that has a huge impact on people.
I love that. Wow, I actually really agree with that. It's so important because that's actually what I learned. That's probably something I don't know. You tell me because you know probably more. But when you're talking about the mountains, I love mountains anyway. I really love to do that. And but I realized because Perth is very flat. It's not really a lot of hiking you can do here. And if it's super easy, it's really nothing to do regarding that. But what I started to do, like I tried to exercise the way that because I love exercise, but I realize that I don't like to take myself to that peak when it's really, really painful.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the same thing when you're walking and it's really hard and you're going to the mountains, like you really, like you said, you cry because it's just so hard. And sometimes just to push yourself, I don't know if you agree, it can be kind of like people can try it when they do training because when you really push hard and you really feel like you will vomit, you will cry, it's so hard. But there is something that you can change your attitude. Like you don't need to stop exercise and, try to catch your breath, but you can try to push through, I guess. Is that something connected?
Yeah, it is. And when there's other people around as well, like when you're accountable, I think that if that people were like on their own, they
It's
would
hard.
turn around.
Yes.
And,
It's
and
hard. Yeah.
I've had to have people hold on to because I take a backpack up and we have tea and coffee and banana bread and everything.
Yeah.
Like it's really good little setup. And so I've had people hold on to my backpack and I've like towed them up. And like
Wow.
some of them haven't done exercise in like 5 years and their lungs are burning, their legs are hardly moving. And I've taken lots of groups up over the last 5 years and I've got everyone up. Like I'm super proud of that. And I'm super proud of the people that have come up because we just don't let them quit.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I've had I've had a few people like quit their job like 3 times, like abuse their boss for taking them on. They're just like, that's it, I quit. And they when they get to the top and then they're reflecting, we go to a winery afterwards, have a really nice lunch, and they're reflecting, and it really helps bring something out inside people that they didn't know was there, and it's really cool.
Oh, that's awesome. I definitely am signing in. I
Yeah,
want to
you've
go.
got to come and do it. If you're in
I
Melbourne,
want to
I'll
do
take
it.
you.
I want to do it. Is there any like places that you do it, like particular places in
Yeah.
Australia?
I've got one particular place where I always go, and I've got one in the mountains, and then one on the sea cliffs down at the coast
Cool.
that I take different groups.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely in because I
You'll
know
love it.
how it
You'll
is.
love it. And surprisingly, not a lot of people have seen the sunrise on top of a mountain, and it's quite full on hiking up in the dark. I always say like how brave people are because they're hiking up in the dark, up a rocky track to the top of a mountain in the dark with a stranger. Like
Yeah,
it takes a
it's
lot of
so
courage.
cool. It is so cool. Like I was watching the documentary. I think it's Even McGregor, A Long Way Up. I'm not sure if you know that, but it was amazing because he's actually taking the electric bikes and they're going through like through the world. Honestly, it's just like all America, and they were actually on Machu Picchu, and I was basically because I really want to go. That's my like next plan,
I would
and
love to do that.
they were there and it was like all this fog and it was just so hard to go up and his friend was very like he couldn't breathe and he was like like really hard, like you saw that how unfit he
And it's
is.
high altitude there as
But
well.
yeah, but after that you saw like people were just standing there, everybody was like hugging each other, like so happy to wait for that morning, like like it was really just beautiful morning and the fog disappeared and I was like, this is what like I really love mountains, and I just kind of started to cry and my partner is just laughing because it's always like, oh my god, you can't cry with like it's documentary, come on. But it's
Yeah,
just it was such a beauty to
yeah.
see that sunrise and everything clear up. It was this beautiful, amazing monument, and that I just that is breathtaking. And I think that's
Oh, I
same
love
thing
it.
on
I
mountains.
want to
I
go.
love.
Take me there. Take me
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Something
it's
that I've
that
always
definitely.
wanted to do.
Yeah, that's definitely something that is on my list because it's yeah. I just heard the stories and I always when I see it in movies, it's like, oh my god, like okay, next time, because I
Yeah,
still have like Hawaii and that like the
do the
future
hike in the
preference.
dark and
Yeah,
watch the sunrise. And
yeah.
yeah, let's go. Let's do it. What a good
Let's
thing.
do it. And anyway, let's kind of like wrap up a little bit. What is there anything that you would love to share for people they really want to have beautiful 2021, really strong start and overcome challenges, be strong enough to actually sustain and win the 2021?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, we were talking about it before we started. Like I'm filming like a motivational video. It's called A Message of Hope for 2021, and it's all about possibility. And it's like when you plant something, you don't know if it's anything's going to happen or anything's going to come out of the ground, but you got to have faith that nature is going to do its thing. Like we know, like in this world and everything's chaos or that, but everything's connected. We're all connected. Like they've proven it now with science, and you do the work, but at some stage, nature's got to take its course. Nature's got to do its thing. Nature's got to bring out the sun to grow the fruit or vegetable, whatever you plant. And it's the same with us as humans. We are just part of nature. Is you've got to do the work on yourself, and then sooner or later, like, nature will catch up and do its thing for you. And I truly believe that. And also, is for anyone that's in business, like Steve Martin has got a famous quote, and he said that get so good they can't ignore you. And like, that is my, like, that's my kind of like tattooed on my brain. Because if your skill set is undeniable, there's always room in the marketplace for people where your skill set's undeniable. And that, there's no magic in that. There's no magic in that, but it's like, it's available to us all.
Yeah.
Is just get so good that people can't ignore your skill set, and you'll never have to worry about being broke or building a business ever again, because you'll be in demand.
It's such a beautiful message. Thank you very much for that, because it's so important to, like you said, to realize that, like, it's doable. We just need to work on ourselves. It's not going to happen just because we're sitting and waiting for that. And it's so important to take action, and really, really, personal growth is just such an amazing thing. Like really read books, become expert in anything what you do, even if you are employee, like, doesn't really matter. Just
Doesn't
really
matter.
become great in something, and find out the passion, find out something that is actually, setting you up on fire. How is the English saying? I don't know. And it's so important to have that, because it's when you are flat, when you're really just going through the life, it's not fun, and you're also not fun as a friend, or as a partner, as a colleague. That means people should really do something different, I guess, in 2021. And I love what you say, because that was beautiful message, and we can all do it. We just need to put a little bit of hard work.
Exactly.
That.
Exactly. I've tried it. I wish it was easier, but it doesn't
It's
work,
not.
unfortunately.
I
I
know that.
tried. I tried the easy way. It doesn't. Damn it.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't work. I'm same. I try to figure it out, and skip the steps, because I don't like guidance and guidelines and manuals. That means I don't read them. That means I'm always trying to skip the step, but it's not working. There is always, you need to go through everything, and you need to really, really work hard, and it will come. Thank you very much. And
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's been awesome chatting with you.
it was beautiful. Yeah, thank you very much for this interview, and this topic was amazing. And I believe people will be inspired and motivated to do something different in 2021. I will try to publish this podcast as soon as possible, just because I want people to get this message before January, and it will be beautiful to share it with the world. Thank you very much. I wish you all the best in
Yeah.
2021.
Yeah, you too, Alex. Take care. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you.